Oh, Kike with a swing, but it's not going to be deep enough for the Diamondbacks. For the first time in my God knows how long, the Diamondbacks are going to the National League Championship Series. Oh, man. You got to love it. You got to love it. That is fantastic. You all know I've been on the Diamondbacks train for a couple of years now. And I'm just saying, first time since 2007 when my Red Sox won the World Series that year. Remember that? You had the Diamondbacks. You had the Rockies in there. Man, while back. Feels just like yesterday. I remember I was in my senior year of high school that year. Man, oh man, the Dodgers look on. What a stunner. What a stunner, man. Wow. I can't believe it. I mean, listen, we've all seen the Dodgers go down and defeat many times in the first round of the playoffs, but like this? Wow. They just got manhandled in this series. Now, the Dodgers did put up a bit of a fight today. Lance Lynn ended up just throwing a complete clunker today, giving up God knows how many home runs. How many home runs did he give up? Like 8? Goodness gracious. But in the end, the big story for the Dodgers in this series is the bats just went completely cold. I mean, once again, if we're looking at the box score, I stressed this yesterday. You need Betts and Freeman to be hitting. When those guys are on, the entire lineup is on. Mookie Betts went hitless in this series. Freddie Freeman batted 100 in this series. I mean, their best guy was Will Smith. Kike Hernandez was even doing something. He went 2 for 4 tonight. Jacob Toon, how you doing? $1.99. Let's go Dbacks for Longo. My goodness, I can't talk. Evan Longoria going back to a championship series. This is great for the Diamondbacks. This is awesome. I love this because it's time for some new blood to get into the deeper parts of the playoffs. I love seeing this. We haven't seen the Diamondbacks really do anything over the years. This is a good Diamondbacks team. And like I said, first time since 2007. Remember, that's when as you can all see, everyone, I am very tired. I am running on fumes right now. I've been exhausted today. My goodness. But my Red Sox were up against the Rockies in that World Series. That was just a weird postseason in general back in 2007. Remember the Diamondbacks, they were kind of one of those weird teams that year, and they just somehow, some way got into the NLCS that year. But everyone, we are live. We are about to start the post game. We are just reacting here. This is great to see for the Diamondbacks. Great to see for the Diamondbacks fans. It's been a long time. And it's great to see in this postseason. We're seeing a lot of young teams emerge. Yeah, the Orioles fell short, but you know what? They made it back to the postseason. The Diamondbacks are another one of these teams where they've really gone through hell and back, it seems like, going through player development, really going through some tough years. And here they are with some really good young players on this team, like Corbin Carroll, like Perdomo, who came through tonight with a home run. Gabriel Moreno, who they got for Dalton Varsho in the offseason. Look how lopsided that trade looks right now. Getting a catcher of the future. That trade looks amazing for the Diamondbacks right now. I mean, who else? Christian Walker's been amazing. I mean, my goodness, the bats have just been awesome for the Diamondbacks in this series. What else is there to say? The Diamondbacks, they were just ready to play. They just looked like the better team in this series. And I think really in the end, sure, I actually think people are going to look at this Dodgers team and they're going to say the Dodgers came up short in this series. They're going to look more at the Dodgers' failure than the Diamondbacks' victory. I personally will give the Diamondbacks much more credit. Yeah, sure, I do think the Dodgers really came up short. This is a good Dodgers team. We all thought, yeah, they got hot there at one point in the season. For the most part, they've been a really good team this year. But there always felt like there was something missing with this Dodgers team this year. Yeah, I rolled the dice. I went with the Dodgers for my World Series pick. You never know what happens in this postseason. No one ever predicts a perfect postseason. This is why I can't stand when people, they look at the credibility of a whoever is talking baseball on the TV or whoever's making predictions in whatever sport, baseball, basketball, and if they don't get the predictions right, they just lose credibility. And that's not just me. I'm just saying, like, there's all these people out there that do it, and it's so hard to predict postseason baseball. And I think a lot of people, for the most part, thought this Dodgers team absolutely had enough to beat this Diamondbacks team. Now, a lot of people are going to look to the Dodgers' failures, I think, and I think they're going to look at the fact that they got, quote, iced. Now, let's keep it real here. You all know I like my numbers. You all know I love the stats. I like my analytics. But at the end of the day, I was a kid at one point, and through high school, I was a kid just playing some baseball too. At the end of the day, you just got to go win games. And at the end of the day, the Diamondbacks simply just won the games. People are going to, play the blame game. Oh, the Dodgers, they had to sit out for like almost a whole week. They went cold. The bats got cold. It's the playoff format. Nah, the winning teams go out there and win the games no matter what, right? The Houston Astros, they had to sit out too, and they're back in the American League Championship Series for the 7th straight year. The 7th straight year, right? Listen. If the Diamondbacks can do it if the Astros can do it for 7 years in a row, the Dodgers, I'm sorry, these other teams that have, been, quote, iced, like the Orioles too, winning teams win baseball games. Simply put, at the end of the day. Sure, is there maybe a little something to going cold? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But the good teams know how to get ready. And the Dodgers were not ready for this series, and the Diamondbacks took complete advantage. Sure, yeah, the Diamondbacks, they got a bit of a warm-up coming in here. They got the Brewers, but they had good pitching. They got by that Brewers pitching staff, and last time I checked, the Brewers went into that series pretty much right off the bat from the regular season, so it wasn't like the Brewers were iced. They beat the Brewers' really good starting pitching, which was really good in the second half of the year. Sure, they lost Brandon Woodruff, but you got Corbin Burns. You got Freddie Peralta, both who were really good in the second half, and they got by those guys. So I don't want to hear the excuses. I really don't, and I'm sorry, Dodger fans. I'm not trying to get on to you here. At the end of the day, the Dodgers just weren't ready to play in this series, and the Diamondbacks just had their number. Give a lot of credit to the Diamondbacks for being prepared. Whatever they were doing, preparation-wise before the game, scouting reports, swinging at the right pitches and the right counts. The Diamondbacks were ready, and the Dodgers were not at the end of the day. You can play the blame game with the scheduling and the playoff format, whatever, all you want. At the end of the day, the Diamondbacks got a W, and the Diamondbacks got 3 Ws, and the Dodgers got 0. So, yeah, it is a little disappointing seeing this Dodgers team fall flat like this. But I'm really looking at the top of the lineup. There's superstar guys, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. I'm not picking on Mookie Betts, because he's a former Red Sox and he didn't want to re-sign with the Red Sox. No, I'm not doing that with Mookie Betts here. I see some people say that sometimes. But no, Mookie Betts, sorry. When you're in the leadoff spot, when you're an MVP caliber player this year, you have to come through in the postseason. Mookie Betts has always had these inconsistent postseasons. Really good in 2020, but so up and down in his postseason career. I mean, my goodness, Freddie Freeman. This is one of your superstar veteran guys. You need to be coming through here. There were many times here Freddie Freeman just came up short. I remember just watching some of these games and Freddie Freeman just letting pitches just go right down the middle of the plate. I'm thinking, what is going on here? That tells me that it's some kind of a preparation thing where he's looking for certain pitches and he's not getting those pitches. So I think the Diamondbacks just really had this Dodgers team just completely off balance when it comes to the pitching. Gallen pitched great. I mean, look at Pfaadt for today. Give a lot of credit to Brandon Pfaadt here. Sure, he didn't get out of the 5th inning, but 4 1/3, 2 hits. Hey, 42 pitches, but that's what you need. Right? You got Gallen, you got Merrill Kelly there. Pfaadt, and if you can get the bullpen behind him, that's a pretty solid option for the Diamondbacks right there. We'll have to see how that goes in the next round. But overall, this is a great series for the Diamondbacks. They look pretty dangerous, in my opinion. I don't see why they couldn't make it to the World Series. Now, we can't really talk about it right now because we don't know who their opponent is going to be. But before I do get to that opponent, let's actually just go through tonight's game. I mean, like I said, the Diamondbacks, they're just ready, man. 4 home runs in the 3rd inning off of Lance Lynn. I did talk about last night where I figured Lance Lynn was either going to throw a pretty good game or he was just going to be terrible, and it wasn't going to be anywhere like in the middle. It was going to be either or. And in the end, Lance Lynn, just a pretty terrible performance today. 2 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 home runs overall, all in the 3rd inning. Perdomo, Marte, Christian Walker, Moreno with another postseason home run. Blue Jays fans are crying themselves to sleep as we speak. The Diamondbacks just teed off of him. Lance Lynn has not been effective this year. He looked pretty good in the last couple of starts of the year, but in the end, he just could not carry it into the postseason. These Diamondbacks hitters are extremely dangerous right now, and Lance Lynn was just an absolute dud in this one. Give a lot of credit to the Dodgers bullpen. They really came through. They held this game down as much as they could, and that's what I was kind of riding on with the Dodgers. I'm thinking, all right, good offense this year, really good bullpen in the second half, led by Red Sox legend Ryan Brazier. But in the end, they just weren't able to be utilized because the biggest factor, and I should know better. When I'm making my predictions, I looked at the Dodgers starting pitching. I did like some of the stuff like with Bobby Miller. I'm a big Bobby Miller fan. I just don't think he's quite there yet. They just didn't have the starting pitching. And I honestly think even Julio Urias, I just don't think he would have made a difference either because he was having a terrible year before getting, shipped off to God knows where he is. And who knows if he's even going to be playing in the major leagues anymore. But the Dodgers starting pitching was so bad this year. They're having a lot of injuries. Dustin May early on. Tony Gonsolin, he just wasn't even anything at all effective this year. No Walker Buehler this year, obviously. They were just a shell of themselves with the starting pitching. And shame on me for thinking that a team that thin on starting pitching could make it through the postseason. I went for it with a bit of a gamble, and I'm paying for it. My World Series pick is completely busted right now. I had the Orioles and the Dodgers. Shame on me. I will take that to the grave. But every year, I try to learn something new for my predictions. Maybe next year, I can finally get it right. Maybe. Probably not. But there's always hope. In the end, the Dodgers, really fun team here. Really excited to see what they can do in this next round. Very excited for it. But like I said, a lot of credit for the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks fans, you should be very happy about the performance of this team. In the end, offense was sharp. Pitching was solid. Bullpen did enough. Good, solid, all-around looking team right now. Now, what happens with the Dodgers moving forward? Everyone, while I'm pulling this up, if you can, hit that like button for me. Really hit the crap out of that like button. Hit the crap out of the like button like the Diamondbacks hit home runs off of Lance Lynn tonight. And my goodness, smash the crap out of it. Bell notification, share the show if you can. Subscribe if you are new. But let's talk about the Dodgers here really quick because, hey, they have, in my opinion, a pretty big offseason coming up. We're going to get to the Braves and the Phillies. We're going to get to the Astros and the Twins shortly. But right now, I do just want to take a dive into the Dodgers offseason. We all know with the Dodgers, hey, they got lots of money. And they're going to be active in this postseason, after now that they're out of the postseason, in this offseason, they're going to be very active. A lot of money potentially coming off the books, especially with all these club options. What's going to happen with Clayton Kershaw? He looked like a shell of himself. Have we seen the end of Clayton Kershaw with the Dodgers? Kike Hernandez, will he stick around? JD Martinez, will he have maybe another year? I could honestly see JD Martinez maybe sticking around for a little bit. We got David Peralta coming off the books. You got a lot of guys coming off the books here, and then you got club options. Lance Lynn, I would imagine, is not going to be back. I could see Lance Lynn maybe going to like a lesser team, kind of like how Aroldis Chapman did this year. He went to a non-contender, maybe try and work himself back around. Maybe Lance Lynn can do something like that. Max Muncy, club option on him. I would think, it's a $10 million club option. Muncy had a pretty decent year, a lot of power from him. So I could see him sticking around, but then I could also see the Dodgers maybe going in a different route. Got some bullpen guys here. Joe Kelly, Blake Trinan, Daniel Hudson. So they got a lot of money coming off the books. And when you're thinking money, when you're thinking free agents who are going to be making a lot of money, the first name that comes to mind is Shohei Ohtani. Will Shohei Ohtani be a Dodger? That is the one team that people keep looking to. There just seems to be that connection. I mean, shoot, there were even rumors at some point this year that he was going to be going to the Dodgers in the offseason. We even saw a rumor like that. I don't know how true that is, but you see the connection there, right? He's already there. The Dodgers have the money. They have that winning culture. It seems like a perfect fit. Shohei Ohtani, I think the landing spot for him, the favorite, has to be the Dodgers at this point. Who knows what ends up happening? Who knows? Maybe another team comes in, changes his mind. Who knows what happens with the money? I think the contract is going to be interesting considering, another surgery on his elbow. So that's going to be really interesting to see what kind of a contract he ends up with. But the Dodgers, I would imagine you got to think they got to be the front runner for Shohei Ohtani. But let's be real here. They need pitching. They need all of the pitching. And, you do got some pitching coming onto this market. Obviously, Ohtani is not going to be able to pitch next year. So to be, considering what we just saw with the Dodgers offense, I think this is going to give them a little bit more motivation to go after someone like Ohtani. Honestly, we saw this offense not really able to come through, but they do need pitching. Now, you are going to get Walker Buehler back. You do got Bobby Miller. That's pretty solid for the rotation next year. What's going to happen with Clayton Kershaw? Dustin May will come back at some point. Tony Gonsolin, I would imagine, is going to be back at some point in the first half, I would think. Or maybe not. Maybe not in the first half. I don't know. Who knows when we see Tony Gonsolin? But I do think they need to go land someone in the starting pitching market. Who knows? Maybe someone like a Jordan Montgomery. Maybe someone like Blake Snell, who's already been in the NL West for the last couple of years. Could he be a pickup for the Dodgers? Someone like Aaron Nola, where they had a lot of injuries this year. Maybe they want to pick up someone that is a workhorse and can give you the innings. So maybe someone like that could be attractive. Now, after those guys, the market does get a little thin. You got some other guys, like Lorenzen's going to be here. Urias, he's basically going to be playing in Japan probably. He's not coming back. Guys like Giolito. I could see someone like Giolito for the Dodgers. He was, originally from that area. I was thinking maybe he could have been traded to the Dodgers at the trade deadline. So there are options, but I would imagine the Dodgers are really going to be in on these guys. There's also Eduardo Rodriguez. There is the option there. Obviously he's not popping up here yet because they have not figured out that option. He's probably going to be a free agent. So that could be an option. I mean, he did veto a trade to the Dodgers, but who knows? Maybe he moves the family out there. I mean, because he did say that the reason he turned down the trade at the trade deadline was because he wanted to stay closer to family. But, during that time, it's kind of hard to just get up and move your family, across the country in the middle of a season. Who knows? Maybe an offseason will be different. Maybe the Dodgers can sway him this time if they are still interested in him. Maybe they won't be interested in him because he did turn it down. I don't know. Who knows what ends up happening? But I do think the Dodgers need to land some starting pitching. And then obviously Yamamoto, talking about Japanese players, Yamamoto, he's not appearing here either because I don't think he, actually, let's go. Do they have the projected? I'm guessing he's somewhere on this list, or maybe he hasn't officially been posted yet. I think that's probably what it is. He hasn't officially been posted, but Yamamoto's a really interesting one too. So, obviously the Dodgers, they've had success landing Japanese players. So Yamamoto, I could see being a realistic option for them. So they got a big offseason coming up. They're definitely going to have to make some moves. The Dodgers are going to be in it next year. They will. They're going to be in it every single year. So I wouldn't worry. But what is it going to take for the Dodgers to get over that hump? What is it going to take for them? People, yes, they won the 2020 World Series, but people out there, when it comes to the court of, the public opinion, a lot of people put the asterisk on that 2020 championship simply because it just was a weird season and it was a short season and the playoffs were weird and whatever. They ended up winning it. Everyone had the same situation. At the end of the day, the Dodgers came out on top, but who knows what would have happened to that year if they had a full season. I still think they probably had a great shot at winning it that year if they played a normal season. But you want to see the Dodgers, Dodger fans, I think personally, even if they don't want to admit it, deep down, they want to see them win an actual full 162-game schedule plus postseason championship. All right? So they got a big offseason coming up. The Dodgers are going to be active. After another postseason exit like this, they're going to be looking to spend some money. Could it be Ohtani? Could it be Yamamoto? Could it be someone like Snell or Nola? Could it maybe be a couple of options? I wouldn't be surprised about that at all. I could see the Dodgers going out there and really trying to make some moves. So let's get going here to the next series. And one more time, Diamondbacks fans, congrats. This is a great moment for Diamondbacks fans. Great moment for baseball, in my opinion. I think it's fantastic that a young team like this is moving on to the next round. Can they get to the World Series? I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I remember that 2001 World Series with the Diamondbacks and the Yankees, one of the best World Series of all time. Oh, man, I'm already just getting those memories of Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, Roger Clemens, Alfonso Soriano hitting the homer, Luis Gonzalez with the walk-off. Oh, such a fun time. But let's get on to the other clincher for today. Let's go to the Astros and the Twins. And what else is there to say? You know, it's another successful postseason for the Astros. Their 7th straight American League Championship Series. They broke the record last year. The previous record was 5 straight for the Oakland A's. Then they broke it last year by making it to their 6th straight. So now they have increased their record of 7 straight. They are 1 away from tying the all-time record for advancing to the championship series. The Braves have the record for 8 straight National League Championship Series. So the Astros, if they can do it again next year, if they can do it again for the next 2 years, they'll be the all-time record. They'll have the all-time record for winning the pennant. So, but 7 straight, that's incredible. I mean, that's incredible. Every year, this team is just built different. They're built for the postseason. It's fantastic how this team is. All right, just everything that goes into it, and it's and let's be real here. The Astros, yeah, they've got a lot of talented players, but if you look at the last couple of years, they've been steadily losing players and having to replenish with guys from the farm. Carlos Correa replacing him with Jeremy Pena, losing Springer at one point, having to insert guys like Chas McCormick in there. You know, they've had their issues, and they have not been a perfect team, you know, over the last few years, but they just know how to run that organization. I don't think that's really something you just look at the team. You look at the entire organization from top to bottom. You look at not just the players, but the coaching staff, the analytics department, everyone in that organization. It's so... Say what you will about the trash cans and say what you will about all of that. I still hold to this day that many teams were cheating in that year, you know, during those couple of years. My Red Sox were involved. The Yankees had this mysterious letter that no one wanted to open or whatever the heck it was. I don't know what that was. There were a lot of teams, you know, being called out for, you know, cheating. I'm not going to sit here and say the Astros were the only team that were doing it. I mean, other players have said that as well. Other players have said, you know, other teams were cheating. I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm just saying, you know, to me, it's like, get rid of this whole, you know, this whole thing about the trash cans and whatever. Even after the trash cans, they're still making things happen, right? Winning a World Series last year, getting to the World Series 2 years ago, back in the ALCS this year. This is a phenomenal organization. And listen, there's nothing else to say. This is an incredible organization. I think we'll go down during this time period. However long this run goes, it's going to go down, I think, as one of the all-time periods of an organization in sports history. It's fantastic. But getting to this game today, I mean, really, there's not really too much to say. Royce Lewis, he's going to be a star for the Twins. I'm so glad this guy is healthy. I hope he stays healthy, because this is a guy, this is something the Twins need. You know, yeah, Correa, I think, is going to be that cornerstone player for you. This is their big ticket guy, but, you know, someone like Royce Lewis on this team, he just brings energy to this team, and he got it started today, had the home run, gave the Twins the lead early, but in the end, the Astros are just doing what the Astros do. Jose Abreu, absolutely dreadful season for Jose Abreu. Awful. He was my most disappointing player for the Astros this year. I think I did a couple of videos of most disappointing players. I think I did like a mid-season one, and then I did at the end of the regular season. Jose Abreu has turned it around, everyone. He has turned it around. He has finally figured it out. It took him an entire season to figure it out, but he has done it. 2-run home run in the 4th today, gave the Astros the 3-1 lead. 3rd home run of the series. Jose Abreu, imagine if Abreu had a good year. Imagine how good this Astros offense would have been the entire year, right? The Astros offense got it going in the second half. They were pretty middle of the road in the first half. You got Altuve back at one point. Alvarez, he got hurt at one point. Imagine if you had Abreu the whole year just smashing, man. Ugh. With him, this lineup is dangerous right now. I mean, my goodness. And then you got Michael Brantley back, and he homered today. Michael Brantley. It doesn't matter how much time this guy misses. This guy could miss 8 years, and he'll still come back and do well. I love Michael Brantley. But in the end, the Astros, in my opinion, I think the guy that really held it together here was Jose Urquidy. Yeah, they got the power, they got the run production when they needed it, but Jose Urquidy coming up big time. I'm just saying, I was talking about this last night. Jose Urquidy is a guy that had a couple of good starts. He went to the bullpen trying to work out some kinks. After coming back into the rotation, they gave him a start at the end of the season, and it looks like he figured something out. He looked great today. 3 hits, 2 runs. He did give up 2 home runs, but he struck out 6 overall. Great start for Urquidy today, but what the heck was going on with Joe Ryan? Why was Joe Ryan pulled from this game? To me, I'm so tired of this, man. Can we please leave these starting pitchers in the game? Please? Please. Leave these starting pitchers in the game. I don't understand this. I know Sonny Gray, maybe, sure, could you make the argument that he was left in a little too long yesterday, but whatever. Ride your starters. Joe Ryan, 2 innings today. What is going on here? And then you got Thielbar, confident up there. And Brock Stewart, he came in, did pretty well through 12 pitches, and he's out of the game. I don't know. Just a weird strategy today, just handling this. It was a close game in the end, but I don't know. I feel like in a close game like this, you look back and you're thinking, man, what if you got a couple more innings out of Joe Ryan? I know he was, gave up a couple of hits, gave up a homer, but I don't think that was really a reason to pull him that early. I don't know. I feel like this happens so much. When these starters get pulled this early, it never works out. Never. I can't think of a time. It's probably happened, but I can't think of a time when a guy has been pulled this early, or even like after 3 innings where it really works out. Maybe, yeah, there's been a couple, like Ranger Suarez, game 1 for the Phillies. He didn't go very deep, but 2 innings? 2 innings for Joe Ryan? I mean, come on. 2 innings. That's just crazy. But in the end, the Astros are just the better team. It doesn't come down to the players. It doesn't come down to just the analytical department in the organization, the scouting department. It also just comes down to just some good old-fashioned managing. Dusty Baker. These guys are all behind Dusty Baker, man. They love Dusty. He's just so good. He's just so good. He's always been successful, but he finally got the monkey off his back last year winning a World Series. And to me, I just think it comes down to, I think Rocco Baldelli, I think he just made a mistake here, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people disagree with me, but I think, honestly, Joe Ryan should have stayed in this game. In the end, the Astros are moving on, and we have a fun matchup for the American League Championship Series. Ladies and gentlemen, they have not put it down here yet on Fangraphs, but this is going to be really interesting. You got the Astros and you got the Rangers. I mean, when you're just looking at these two teams on paper, I mean, right now it's looking pretty even. I think right now both of these offenses are looking really good top to bottom. You got tough at-bats all over the place in both of these lineups. You got 3 starting pitchers for both. Honestly, for the Astros, you got 4 guys right now that you can turn to now that Jose Urquidy just pitched a good game today. Right now, I think you got to give the edge to the Astros when it comes to starting pitching, at least depth-wise. For the Rangers, yeah, Nathan Eovaldi looked really good yesterday. Jordan Montgomery, he's been pretty solid for them for the most part. Looked good against the Rays, not so much against the Orioles. But, I'm just saying, to me, you're going to get Scherzer back, but what are you going to get out of Scherzer? I don't know, but when you're looking at the bullpens, so for me, I would actually, honestly, I think if you were to go looking, if you were to compare the 2 lineups here, I think you'd probably give the edge to the Rangers right now because they are just bashing, right, more consistently, while the Astros, yeah, they got a few runs today, but they're not putting up as many runs as the Rangers. So for that, I'll give the Rangers an edge. It just feels like this Rangers lineup is pretty dangerous right now. Astros, I'll give the edge to in starting pitching, not just from a depth point of view, but I feel like these guys have just given you some more quality starts overall. I know the Rangers, they went back to the Rays series there. Nathan Eovaldi's looking really good. Montgomery, he's, had one good start against the Rays, wasn't as sharp against the Orioles. But, and then Scherzer, right? I don't know what you're going to get out of Scherzer. I don't know what he could be. I don't know. He's had a bit of a layoff here. How deep is he going to go? I think it's pretty much until he is just giving up meatballs. I think that's when you pull Scherzer. I think you can only really just watch and wait and see what he can give you. But to me, the fact that you have a huge question mark as your number 3 in the rotation, I think that means you have to give the edge to the Astros. And listen, this back end of the bullpen for the Astros, they have not had the most successful bullpen down the stretch in the second half. But I'm sorry, in the postseason, when you're leaning on the big arms, Presley, Abreu, I know Neris had a pretty bad spot not too long ago against the Twins. You got someone like Maton too. Even Montero looked okay against the Twins. I like the Astros bullpen. I just like the arms that they have. The Rangers bullpen, for the most part, has been pretty solid too. But I think overall, you got to give the edge to the Astros. I don't mean to, spoil Rangers fans' hopes and dreams right now. But I think until the Astros lose, it's hard to pick against them. Can the Rangers maybe find some of that intrinsic motivation to, dig deep and finally be that team, right, that just knocks them off in that West? I think it could happen. I think it's going to be a great series overall. I think if I were to make a pick, I think it goes at least 6. I would think it goes at least 6. I would imagine the Rangers, they're going to give them a tough fight. I hope it goes 7. That'd be awesome. You know what I would love to see? I'd love to see Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer in a Game 7. That probably doesn't happen because of the way they're going to line it up. I would imagine Verlander is probably going to pitch Game 1 or Game 2. So I don't know. Who knows? I would still love that. Verlander and Scherzer in a Game 7. That's fun to me. I love when you just got 2 veteran guys like that. It just reminds me of Schilling and Clemens in that 2001 World Series Game 7. That's probably my favorite pitching matchup of all time, like Pedro and Clemens. Those couple of matchups that they had up against each other. I love those big names going up against each other. I love that. I feel like we're seeing a time where we're not seeing that too much anymore. I hope we see a fun matchup like that at some point in this series. But I do have to lean Astros as of right now. I think right now they just look like the complete team. But the Rangers are playing so good right now too. But it's hard to pick against the Astros because they have just been so successful. But if there is a team that can slay the Astros, it is this Rangers team. So I'm not going to be surprised if this Rangers team wins. I don't know my prediction as of right now. You all know me. I'm terrible with my predictions. But right now, honestly, my gut is going both ways. Is it more that I'm scared to pick against the Astros? Am I just hesitant to pick the Rangers because I want to see them prove it? A part of my gut wants to pick the Rangers, there's something about this Rangers team. I don't know what it is. It just feels like maybe they've woken up. But this is going to be an absolute dogfight in this series. Let's have you all decide. I'm going to put a poll up. Let's do a poll. Everyone, while I'm putting up the poll, we're at 62 likes. Help us get to 100 likes, everyone. The algorithm has, we've been struggling a little bit with this algorithm lately. And the like button really does help. The goal is 100 likes while we are live. I did see a couple of super chats. I'm going to get to those here while I'm putting up this poll. So, who you got? Astros or Rangers? The poll is up, everyone. The poll is up. Let me get to these super chats here. Let me see. Jacob Toon, $1.99. Let's. Oh, wait, I saw that one earlier. I saw that earlier, Jacob. Thank you for that. Let's go Dbacks for Longo. That'd be fun, man. If Longoria can get to a World Series, that'd be fun. And then we had a super chat just a little bit ago from Xochitl Apple. Am I saying that correctly? $1.99. 4 underdogs, all one. Look forward to a Texas ALCS. That's pretty fun too. 2 teams in the heart of Texas going at it for a spot in the World Series. That's drama if you ask me. And right now, this poll is pretty even, everyone. It's pretty even. While we're looking at this poll here, I got 50 votes, and it's 50-50 right now. Wow. 50-50 in the poll right now. That's crazy. 52% now back to 50-50. I'm going to check on that in a little bit. But Braves and the Phillies. Braves and the Phillies. Man, oh man, what a performance today by the Phillies. And there was a lot of drama in this one today. A lot of drama, and that all revolved around, of course, it's always Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is always finding himself in the thick of things. It just seems like Bryce Harper has always been involved with something, going back to when, he was doing that home run derby at Tropicana Field years back and hitting the scoreboard at Tropicana, and everyone's going crazy. He's the Sports Illustrated cover, the next big thing or whatever the title of that was. Ever since then, Bryce Harper has just been this lightning rod. And once again, in the news in this one. I mean, honestly, he's in the news because he just had a monster game, 2 home runs. But the story of the home runs for Bryce Harper was the fact that as he was rounding second base, taking a little bit of I don't want to say a glance, staring a hole through Orlando Arcia. And now there was a bit of, I don't want to say drama, but a little something getting out of the Braves clubhouse where Orlando Arcia, he was poking fun at Bryce Harper. I don't remember the quote. I think he said like "attaboy Harper" or something for messing up on the bases and getting doubled off at first base to end the game there. So I guess chuckling at that or whatever it was. But that got out of the clubhouse, and actually the Braves players were not very happy about that. So because really at the end of the day, like in the clubhouse, it's kind of like a sacred place, right? You don't let things get out. Right, and someone leaked that out. Arcia actually talked about it after the game, saying, "Yeah, I didn't really want Harper to hear about it because I wasn't really, I was just having some fun or whatever." He was, I don't remember what he was saying exactly, but basically saying he did not want Harper to hear about that because he was just, in my opinion, just having a good time with his teammates. They were joking around, and I think he obviously respects Harper as a player. In that moment, it was just. I mean, come on. Everyone was looking at Harper. Harper, that was a play I don't really blame him for because I liked the aggressiveness. Because if that ball ends up dropping, he ends up scoring, and then everyone thinks Bryce Harper is the greatest player alive in that moment. It's kind of one of those do or die things where super aggressive. Maybe he just went a tick too far. And in the end, he got doubled off. It happens, right? That's baseball, right? And, with Harper, with the type of player he is, the type of lightning rod that he is, it's easy to kind of get onto Harper about that. So I didn't mind it personally. It was a tough spot. In the end, it is what it is. But the Phillies, complete outburst today. 6 homers, 2 homers from Harper himself. An absolute bomb in the 3rd inning. Holy crap. I think Bryce Harper hit that ball I think he almost hit those 2 guys that were on the roof. Did you all see that? The 2 guys that were just like on the roof. I'm like, who the heck are these guys that are on the roof of the stadium or whatever it was? Harper hit that ball to frickin' Pluto. My goodness. His home runs, every home run that he hits in the postseason, there's just something about the home runs that he hits. They're all just majestic home runs. They're all just statement home runs every single time. But Castellanos, he got in on the action. 2 home runs from him. Trey Turner, Brandon Marsh as well getting involved. Just all the offense today for the Philadelphia Phillies. And listen, Bryce Elder, I said this. I think everyone pretty much agreed that Bryce Elder, this was not a good matchup. And this is where the loss of Charlie Morton really affected the Braves here because this was the option that you had to go to. And I'm gonna be honest with you, everyone. I'm gonna be honest with you. You left Elder in too long. I said last night, if you were with me last night, I said you need to have the shortest leash on Bryce Elder. As soon as he started running into trouble, I would have taken him out. I think you left him in too long, and that's not even a hindsight thing, in my personal opinion. Yeah, he gave up the big shot to Harper there that kind of just put an exclamation point on everything, right? Or at least in the early going, it really kind of set the tone, and the energy in Philly was just incredible at that point. I just don't think you even should have let him get to that point. In my personal opinion, I just think I think you should have pulled him after Rojas. I think you should have given him one turn through the rotation, because this is a guy where his stuff, it's not going to do well second and third time through the order. I understand. I get it. You want to try and get it. I've said this. You want to get as many innings out of your starter. But that's a little different with someone like Joe Ryan. Bryce Elder is a guy who had a really tough second half. You know, I just think one time through the order, I would have taken him out personally. I know that might seem a little short. That's when I would have pulled him. At least after, what was it? I think Schwarber. I think he got him to ground out. Or was it Schwarber? Or I can't remember. After the Turner base hit, I would have taken him out maybe after then. At least. I don't know. I think he was left in too long. To me, this should have been a bullpen game today. I just think Elder, I don't know, man. I think he just really should have been an opener today. Get it through the lineup one time. And in the end, Harper, especially with Harper having something to prove, that guy just wears his heart on his sleeve. You knew that guy was going to do something at some point with, all that stuff, especially what happened in the last game. So that's the last thing I'll say about that. I think Elder was just left in too long. But I will say this, everyone. I will say this. This series is far from over, in my opinion. Say what you will. This has been a back-and-forth series. The Phillies won Game 1. Everyone was on the Phillies bandwagon. The Braves had an incredible win in Game 2. Everyone's back on the Braves bandwagon. Now the Phillies won Game 3. They absolutely annihilated them here. Everyone's back on the Philly bandwagon. Also, I want to point out, it would be criminal if I did not mention Aaron Nola. Solid performance for Aaron Nola. This guy is pitching himself to a great contract in the offseason. Tough year this year for him. Very up and down, very inconsistent, but he's looking really good in this postseason, really helping himself out this offseason. He's going to get a monster contract. Aaron Nola, 5 2/3, 6 innings, 2 runs, 9 Ks. Very good start today for Aaron Nola. So he was steady today. But this is not over. You got Strider. I know Philly's going to be loud. I know it's going to be loud. It's going to be loud and proud in Philly. But Strider, I wonder, man. I wonder. He has the ability to make 40,000 Philly fans just be completely quiet. He has that ability. He does, and he does. You're looking me in the eye right now, and you agree with me. He has that stuff, and he can throw an absolute gem. He can. I'm not saying he will, but he can. And that's why this is far from over. You got to get through. If you're the Phillies here and you want to get back to this World Series, right? I know you got to get back to the championship series, right? But if you want to make that run again at a World Series, you got to go through a guy like this. I know you got through him last year, but you got through him when he wasn't really at his best, right? He was coming back from an injury. Strider right now, he's been really good this year. You want to show what you are, and we already know what this Phillies team can be. It's a really good team. But, man, this is it. If you can beat Strider here in Game 4, move on to the next round, I think the Phillies are the favorites. Beat Strider, you're the favorites, in my opinion. I think if they win tomorrow, if they close it out, I think I got to lean Phillies to win this whole thing, to be completely honest. I don't see, sure, say what you will about the Astros, the Rangers, Diamondbacks have been fun, but out of those 4 teams, if the Phillies advance and they beat Strider, I got to lean Philly, in my opinion. This team is just looking really good, but I'm holding off until I see tomorrow's game, because you do have Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies. He has not been bad this year, but this is really going to be, his first big spot in the postseason. He's got the home crowd behind him, But to me, I think the Braves, after, this emotional game here, they just got embarrassed. To me, I think the Braves are going to come out swinging. And I think they're going to make something happen here. Really try to jump on Sanchez early on. And if they can get a good start from, is it Suarez? TJ Stalika Suarez is pitching? Why is it saying Christopher Sanchez here? Did I refresh? Let me refresh. Let me go Phillies. Has it been announced for Suarez? Fangraphs, I gotta get onto Fangraphs here a little bit. They have not been doing well with these projected starters in these game by game odds. They really need to step this up. Fangraphs, if any of you are watching this, I know you guys do amazing things, but you guys have been a bit clunky with these projected starters. If it's already been announced, I didn't see that because I've only been just going off of that. So let's do, okay, yeah, so it says Suarez right there. So I don't know what Fangraphs is doing here. I apologize. Christopher Sanchez, not the Game 4 starter. It is Ranger Suarez. Could that be something where, Suarez, he looked pretty good in Game 1. Looked pretty good. To me, I think Strider is harder to pick up on. They saw Strider in Game 1, but to me, Strider with the stuff that he has, you can't really just go out there and be like, yeah, we saw him in Game 1, we'll be fine for the next time. He has that stuff to where he's tough to beat no matter how many times you see him. Suarez, I wonder if it could be a different story with him. I wonder if the Braves maybe really try to jump on him. I'm not taking anything away from Suarez, but he's not the same picture as Strider is. I think we can all agree on that. But Suarez is a guy that can really be solid for you. We saw what he did in Game 1. Even if it's only 3-4 innings, maybe even 5, Suarez can turn in a really solid start for you. But I personally, I am going to lean on the Braves to win this one and force a Game 5. That, to me, is how I'm feeling about this. But you all know me. I'm always wrong. I go with the wrong choice every single time. My gut is telling me, I feel like Strider really comes out just ice in his veins. I feel like that's going to happen. I don't know. I just feel like this has to go 5. It feels weird if this series doesn't go 5. And then if it does go to 5, you got Wheeler and Fried. That's a great matchup. And Fried, he got to start under his belt after missing a couple of weeks there with the blister. That could be a really good matchup in Game 5. I hope it goes 5. That's just me. We'll have to see. Everyone, if you can, hit that like button for me. And I'm going to start getting out of here, everyone. I got to work in the morning. I am not going to lie. I was exhausted today. I am tired. But I got to do the post games for all of you. And everyone, before I do get out of here, we are sponsored here by Underdog Fantasy, a proud sponsor of the channel. The link is in the description down below. Use the code HYDE. You get a double on your first deposit, up to $100. And I actually did make some picks with the games today. And let's go see how I did. Everyone, once again, I don't know. I'm not good at this stuff. I'm telling you, you got to be better than me. I think you got to go test it out because I'm pretty sure you can beat me on Underdog Fantasy. I got a couple of right today. I went with a good game from Harper today. And, hey, really good game for him. Jose Abreu, he got a base hit like I thought he would. He's been hot. But Bregman, he really came up short today. Lynn, I thought maybe could get a few more outs. He fell short. Mookie Betts completely disappointing me. In the end, I got 2 out of 5. I bet $20. Could have won up to $400. In the end, what can you do? What can you do? But I know you can do better than me. You can do pick'ems. You can do drafts. It's not just for baseball. It's for football too. Every Sunday, you can go make some picks. But as always, please make sure you play responsibly. That is the most important thing after all. But any deposit that you make for your first time, it will be doubled using my code HYDE. Again, the link is in the description down below. Everyone, I want to get out of here. I'm extremely tired. I got to wake up. I got a meeting at work very early in the morning tomorrow, so I got to wake up at the crack of dawn on 6 hours of sleep. Already tired. Everyone, one more time, if you can, on the way out, smash that like button. if you can, just like how the Phillies hit all those home runs today and the Diamondbacks. Hit the like button just like they hit the crap out of the ball today. I'm out of here, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. I will be back. What times are the games on tomorrow? Let me just double check that. The only game on tomorrow is the Braves and the Phillies, and that's at 8 o'clock. So I'll probably be on here. Most likely, I would imagine it's going to be around 11 o'clock tomorrow. So make sure you have the notifications set. I will be live. And then we got no games Friday. That would be nice to kind of get a day off. I kind of need a day. Everyone, I am working on a video as we speak about a certain Japanese player that could be coming over to the States, but not to Major League Baseball, to college baseball. Rentaro Sasaki. Got a video coming up on him. I got another playoff or postseason-based video coming up, hopefully this weekend. So please be on the lookout for all of the content coming up, especially these streams. But everyone, we're getting in the thick of things here. We're really getting deep into the playoffs. So I will see you all for all of that. Everyone, have a great night, and I'll talk to you next time.